Okay, we're ready? All right. Good evening. I'd like to call the regular Borough Council meeting of July 19th, 2021 to order. The meeting has been properly advertised in the Home News Tribune of January 13th, 2021, according to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. And it really is nice to be back here live, to see everybody in person, so we're thrilled to be here. May I have a roll call, please?
Council President Farkas?
Here.
Councilman Ligotti?
Here.
Councilwoman Neubauer?
Here.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Here.
Councilman Peretti?
Here.
And Councilman Zambrano.
Here.
And this evening I'm going to call Mayor.
Here, thank you. We will next have a moment of silence, followed by a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we'll go on to the approval of the minutes from the June 28th, 2021 meeting. May I have a motion?
Move that the minutes be approved as typed.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilman Zambrana. Any comments or corrections? Will the clerk please call the roll? Oh, no, we're doing all in favor, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to the bill list. Bills and claims. Will the clerk please read by title only the bill resolution 179-2021?
Resolution 179-2021 is authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $519,305.28.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilwoman Neubauer. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Neubauer?
Aye.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So before we go on to the comments from the audience on resolutions, I'd like to just move my mayor comments up a little because we have a guest that may not want to stay till the end of the meeting. So I was going to announce, and I'll move it up now, that for many years before we all sat up here, we used to hear how small towns couldn't get anything from the state, how hard it was because we were small towns, and I think we all decided, well, it doesn't hurt to ask, and Milltown can benefit. Small towns actually could benefit from help even more than large towns. So we have been engaging with our assemblymen, and I know that the Utilities Committee, led by Council President Farkas and the rest of the committee, had put a proposal together, which was then worked on by our borough engineer, Mr. McClellan, and then we presented it to our assemblyman, who is here. But I am thrilled to announce that the Milltown will be receiving $2 million from the state in the budget this year for our water infrastructure. So I wanted to give our Assemblyman Danielson a chance to come up so that we can thank him.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Milltown. I love coming here. Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing me to appear tonight. Mike, Pete, good to see you. Don't sit there too long, Pete. You'll be a judge too. Well, last time I was in Milltown, I enjoyed the day at your parade. Milltown really is the heart of the Garden State. You have the best parade in the world. It's the only parade I march in. Have a great time. The biggest hearts. are here in Milltown. I just love being a part of it. You know, and when you're not looking, I take credit for the parade, you know. I say it's my, you know, politics. It's just so fun. Last year I marched in a kilt. This year, you know, I had to calm it all down. But, you know, we went through the last year, we went through the pandemic together, but we also worked well together. The council, mayor, myself, my office, we got a lot done. You know, most notably my office, we spent a tremendous amount of time on unemployment claims. It was jarring how many people legitimately needed unemployment and requested it. It was also jarring how slow the process was. So my office became very matriculated with the Department of Labor. We got access to their systems. We found out who to call, what people were accountable and accessible to us. And we ended up processing thousands and thousands of unemployment claims, which would have otherwise delayed long time. You know, listen, when you're hungry and you have to buy food or the landlord comes knocking, you know, you really can't wait. But with your help, many people from Milltown and throughout my district, thousands, I can't tell you, thousands of people we helped. But in addition to that, I am pleased, as you said, Mayor, that I did secure in this year's state budget an additional $2 million for Milltown. $2 million. That's such a large number, I don't even know how much $2 million costs. It's a lot of money, but it's going to be well spent. I mean, there's very few things more important than fresh, clean, safe drinking water. And certainly for the biggest hearts in the Garden State, that's those here in Milltown, you deserve good drinking water. And it's my honor to be a part of that. And that I'm taking some credit for because I legitimately worked on it, unlike your parade. So, you know, these are lines that, you know, I've broken in the past too often, very expensive to your taxpayers. But in addition to that $2 million, this goes along with the $3 million I got you last year, or the previous years, in grant money, and the $750,000 of direct appropriations last year that we got Milltown. And this is all work that needed to be done. But I'm here again to commit that I'm going to continue to get you more funding, additional funding from the state until this project is completed once and for all. And I'm sure CME, Mike McClellan, will let us know if there's more work to be done.
Great.
Finally, I also secured for Milltown an additional $869,000 of additional money that goes direct to your school district. And I'm very pleased with that, and that starts July 1st this month. So together, you know, we work well together for everybody as long as everybody's working well together. That's a principle I live by. I don't care who you are, where you're from. If you're working with me, I'm going to work with you, because we're all here, we all can agree, we're all here as servants of the people. People who pay taxes, people who live, people who visit Milltown and the rest of my district. So, Mayor, thank you. Just more importantly than remembering how much money I brought your town, remember Joe Danielson is always at your service.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Thank you. Yes, so thank you so much for your work on behalf of the Borough of Milltown. We are thrilled. As you said, we had $750,000 direct appropriation from the state this year and $2 million next year. So we are thrilled for Mr. McClellan to get working on the water lines and anything else that we have to do. So thank you for coming by. We really appreciate it. Anybody from the council have anything they want to comment on about this?
Madam Mayor, I would just like to thank Assemblyman Danielson. Under this administration, for the past 2 years, we have this exceptional collaboration with Assemblyman Danielson, his staff, and the leadership from the state as well. You kind of stole my thunder because I had a list of all the money that you've assisted us in getting, but you know, it's worth saying again. $750,000 last year for waterline improvements. $2 million this upcoming budget for more infrastructure waterline improvements. I know you were a big help in assisting us with funding for Clayton Court and for West Foch, 2 streets that we're going to redo this year, and also the money for the school. So again, it's great to have a great collaboration. We're great partners. So again, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And by the way, thank you also, because when I was running for mayor, and I know he's around Milltown a lot, we walk door to door, and it shows how he listens, we all listen. So one of the biggest complaints or comments that people had was about water. And so now, here, 2 years later, we are going back to what people had described as one of their biggest issues. So we thank you again, Assemblyman, for all your efforts on our behalf. Really appreciate it. Okay, so now we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program and move on to comments from the audience on resolutions. Next on the agenda is resolutions 180, 2021 through 192, 2021. If any member of the public wishes to speak on any of the resolutions, please step to the microphone and identify yourself to the clerks with your name and address for the record. These comments are limited to resolutions listed on the consent agenda.
Hi, Charles Oriniak, 322 South Main Street.
I'm sorry, did you say Ms. Rand?
Oriniak, O-R-Y-N-I-A-K.
Thanks.
Where was it now? The special duty fees for the police department, is that limited to like overtime, or is it other stuff?
So that's for us to go out to bid for a service that would handle the scheduling and billing and collection of the funds for the special duty, where you see the police working on the projects, you know, outside of the regular scope of work.
Okay, thank you. And there was one other, for the yard waste recycling? That's our regular recycling, bottles, cans?
Yeah, that's the contract that we have with the county.
Okay, good. Are they, can we see if they could be a little more on time and less flaky this year? Because
That is always the hope, right? Because it makes it better for the residents and for all the phone calls that go into the
Yes.
DPW.
I can imagine.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we will close audience comments and move on to the introduction of resolutions. When voting on resolutions, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and, having been reviewed by the Borough Council, will be enacted by one motion. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditures are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Are there any questions, or does anyone want to pull any resolutions from the consent agenda? Okay, there being no request to pull any resolutions, will the clerk please read the consent resolution?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meeting, and whereas the Borough Clerk has posted a consent agenda for this meeting. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the consent agenda previously prepared by the Borough Clerk be approved without the necessity of having the individual resolutions read by the Borough Clerk.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Legati. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
This is the motion to approve the resolutions 180, 2021 through 192, 2021. Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer?
Aye.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
And Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to the ordinance of public hearings and adoption. This is the public hearing for ordinance 21-1499, an ordinance to amend Chapter 14, Parks and Recreation, Section 6, Borough Pool, subsection 6.3, fees, and Section 7, Recreation Programs, subsection 7.2, fees, of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, And since introduction, full copies of Ordinance 21-1499 are presently posted on the Borough website, on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, and are available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and 8:30 till noon on Friday. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1499?
So moved?
Second?
I have a motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Ligotti. We're doing all in favor? All in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now the public hearing on Ordinance 21-1499 is now open to any member of the public who wishes to speak on Ordinance 21-1499. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1499?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Ligotti. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1499 is now closed. So we will move on to the public hearing for Ordinance 21.
No, we're gonna adopt,
Yeah.
we will
sorry.
adopt one, that's okay.
Sorry. May I have a motion and a second to adopt Ordinance 21-1499?
I make a motion that the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and published according to law.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilman Peretti. Are there any comments or discussion from the council? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas,
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti,
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer,
Aye.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Aye.
Councilman Peretti,
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you. Now this is the public hearing for 21-1500, an ordinance to amend Chapter 34, Comprehensive Development of Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, to prohibit any class of cannabis business and medical marijuana facilities within its geographical boundaries, and since introduction, full copies of Ordinance 21-1500 are presently posted on the Borough website, on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, and are available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, and Friday, 8:30 a.m. until noon. May I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1500?
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Zambrana. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing on Ordinance 21-1500 is now open to any member of the public who wishes to speak on Ordinance 21-1500. Seeing none, may I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1500?
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Peretti. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now may I have a motion and a second to adopt Ordinance 21-1500?
I make a motion that the ordinance be adopted and second and final reading and be published according to law.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilman Ligotti, second by Councilman Peretti. Any discussions or comments from the council? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas,
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti,
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer,
Aye.
Councilwoman O'Donnell,
Aye.
Councilman Peretti,
Aye.
and Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have the public hearing for Ordinance 21-1501, an ordinance of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing a non-binding referendum to consider whether the borough should allow Class 5 cannabis retailer as a permitted use in the B4 Highway Strip Commercial Zone and B5 Highway Strip Commercial Zone within the Borough of Milltown. And since introduction, full copies of Ordinance 21-1501 are presently posted on the Borough website, on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, and are available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, and Friday, 8:30 a.m. until noon. May I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for ordinance 21-1501?
So moved.
Second?
A motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilwoman Newbauer. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing on ordinance 21-1501 is now open to any member of the public who wishes to speak on ordinance 21-1501.
Hello, Mayor and Council.
Hello.
Megan Geyer, 29 Highland Drive. I am curious, so this is in order to get a referendum public question on the ballot in November. Given that it's not a presidential election, we don't see a lot of voter turnout, as much voter turnout as we do during the presidential elections, like last year when we got a lot of responses to the legalization question. So I'm curious how the council and the mayor are planning on publicizing this referendum in order to make sure that we get engagement from the community and actual feedback from the community.
Good question. Anybody want to feed in on voter turnout? Lisa, who's our voter turnout?
Well, certainly the question will be on the ballots that come, the mail ballots that you get. So every resident, every registered voter will get a copy of that. So they can certainly, as they look through their candidates, they will see that there is a public question. So we're hoping that that would stir enough interest to get people to come out and express their opinion.
Okay?
We also discussed about possibly doing in either a town hall and or / like educational meeting, not meeting, but like a forum, thank you. To sort of help people learn about specifically the law that's at hand and, you know, just to try to let people make the most informed decision.
That sounds great. I haven't noticed a town hall, a town forum yet since I've been in Milltown for 7 years now. I think that's a great idea. So, my other question is around the actual language of the referendum. It specifically calls for allowing whether or not the public wants to allow a Class 5 cannabis retailer out of all of the 6 classes in the state. And only permitted in the B4 and B5 highway strips. I'm curious how the council came to the decision to only have it be the Class 5 retailer, not like the distributors or the delivery services, and also why it was chosen only to have it on the highway strips.
I think we all felt that that was the most appropriate place for a business of this type. There are other businesses that don't really fit well with the downtown. So we, in the past, have relegated other businesses should they come up for that same area. So I think that was the thought process, to have this area specifically for businesses of that type.
Okay. And is that something that if in the town hall, the community were to say they wanted that to be changed, is there any sort of reconciliation for that? If a large portion of the community comes out and says we want these businesses to be more on display, on Main, wherever it happens to be, you know, in vacant lots around town that might not be in those zones, is that something that's still up for discussion with the council, or is it kind of binding given this language?
Yeah, well, do you want to?
Okay, I can kind of step in. I think
Thank
the
you.
thought process was to get public input on something, and the problem is if you make it too expansive, you really don't know what the public's voicing. So the idea was to give a more specific question to the public, gauge the public's response to that, and then use that as one piece of information along with some of the other public forum or information sessions in order to gauge the appeal of such businesses to the residents of the borough. I think some of the concern was the public question that was posed to the voters in general at the last election was whether or not they would support the legalization of cannabis within New Jersey, but that doesn't always mean that residents want to support it within their backyard. So I think this is a first step in trying to understand what the temperature of the residents of the Borough of Milltown is with respect to one aspect of the legalization of cannabis, and perhaps they can gain input from some other sources to try to come up with some comprehensive regulations as to how they want to move forward. Part of the problem is that the borough was required within 120 days of the adoption of the act legalizing cannabis to come up with regulations to either permit it or not permit it within the borough. The Cannabis Commission, that is the statewide commission that regulates it, also has 180 days to come up with their regulations. So we need to decide whether or not we're going to permit it before we even know what the regulations are. So I think there's a lot of information that the borough needs to have before it can really come up with a comprehensive idea as to how it wants to move forward. The idea was this will give them a piece of that information.
Okay, that makes sense, thank you.
That's sort of where, the two ordinances, so we're not ready, we don't have enough information from the state, so we're gonna go ahead and do the first ordinance, which we just passed, and then do an information session, town hall, but hopefully we'll get some more guidance from the state, and that way we can get more feedback, because we don't have all the information that we really would have needed to make a decision.
If I may, one additional thing, when the Cannabis Act was adopted, municipalities were given 180 days to come up with their own regulations to permit it or not permit it within their municipalities. If they took no action, they were impliedly deemed to have permitted it in certain zones for a period of 5 years.
Yep.
So the idea is to prohibit it now so that we aren't automatically permitting it for a 5-year period in zones which we may not want to have it in because we don't really know what the rules are. So that's another reason why the first ordinance was adopted.
Got it.
Right,
Thank
and
you.
open it up to the public for feedback, yay or nay.
Great. And I have one last question. The referendum, the language, again, is specific to cannabis retailers, but I believe the previous ordinance is banning both recreational as well as medical businesses within the confines of Milltown. The referendum, however, doesn't separate anything with retailers versus medical dispensaries, which on the books right now are not allowed. And that's definitely an issue when it comes to equal disability rights, when it comes to access to medical care and health care. And so I'm curious how the council is planning on approaching medical dispensaries in the town, given that they're currently banned.
And I think that's going to be something else that's additionally taken into consideration once it gets all the information. So I think what the Borough Council and Mayor want to do is come up with a comprehensive way of dealing with cannabis within the borough, and they'd like to have all the regulations and the public input before they decide what they want to do and where they want to do it. But certainly that's something that'll be taken into consideration because it is a different type of facility than just a regular retail facility.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I hope that when it comes to the town hall and discussions with the community, that those two are very clearly separated out, because I've noticed in discussions in the community that a lot of people have very different opinions, whether it is a recreational facility or a medical dispensary. So, my 2 cents.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else? All right, seeing that no one else wishes to speak, may I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing for ordinance 21-1501?
So moved?
Second?
Motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Peretti. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I will ask for a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 21-1501.
I make a motion that the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and be published according to law.
Second?
I have a motion by Councilman Legati, second by Councilman Peretti. Are there any comments or discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Farkas?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer?
Aye.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, so now we will have our council professional and mayor's reports, and we will start with the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning. Councilman Bill Zambrana.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no finance, administration, and planning report tonight. The only report I have tonight is in reference to Milltown Day. The Milltown Day, or I should say the Milltown Revitalization Committee, is changing the date that was previously announced at the last meeting from September 25th to October 2nd. We're keeping we're sticking to the date that Milltown Day traditionally has historically always been, which has been the second, or the first Saturday in October. This year, that's October 2nd. That day, we'll have Milltown Day in the morning, and in the afternoon, there'll be Oktoberfest. We felt that it would be great to have both due to some scheduling conflicts around other dates. We will be submitting a plan and a layout to the DPW and the police department to make sure that we are all on the same page, and that should happen within the next couple of weeks. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. So people may have seen that there was a different date online, but that was a conflict with the
Yes.
shredding event and a lot of other things, so it's definitely October 2nd, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Department of Public Safety, Councilman Nick Ligotti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have 3 reports tonight. I will start with the Milltown Fire Department monthly report, June 2021. Drills, 3. Meetings, 1. Fire calls, 6. Special assignments, 4. Work details, 4. Total incidents, 18. Membership. New member Brian Waller was approved, outfitted with gear, and began service. 1 application was distributed. Training. Live burn at Middlesex County Fire Academy, June 6th at 9 a.m. It was extremely hot. Cross-trained with North Brunswick Company 1. 2 weeks later, a firefighter from Kingston suffered a heart attack and died at the fire academy. Members attended his wake. Vehicle maintenance. Estimates received for annual preventive service will be scheduled. Car 83, rust spots and peeling, clear coat was fixed. Equipment maintenance. Flow test for scuba packs, minor repairs made. Estimates received to replace some scuba masks due to wear and tear. Turnout gear repaired, being done. Air quality test done for the quarter. Council meeting announcement. Congratulations to Catherine Peter, who won a $1,000 scholarship from the Milltown Fire Department scholarship competition. Also, congratulations to Andrew Dekovics, who won a $750 scholarship. Thanks to all who have participated. Good luck to them in their future endeavors. Members are needed. Candidates interested in joining the Milltown Fire Department are encouraged to stop by the firehouse Monday nights at 6:30 or email joinmilltownfire@gmail.com. Respectfully submitted, Stephen Battaglia, Chief of the Department. Okay. The next report I'll have is the Milltown Police Department report. Between June 14th, 2021 and July 14th, 2021, police have responded to 1,284 calls for service. During this period, police conducted 140 radar details in numerous locations. Police made 311 motor vehicle stops. For criminal arrests, four criminal arrests were made during this time period, which included criminal mischief, graffiti, a burglary into parked vehicles. Police responded to 12 motor vehicle accidents during this time, which involved only minor injuries. Police continue to receive complaints of phone scams. Residents are advised to use caution before giving personal information or paying any monies. The police department remains in compliance with all mandated training, testing, and directives set forth by the State of New Jersey Attorney General's Office and the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. Please continue to report suspicious activity, traffic concerns, and non-emergent type calls to 732-828-1100. Emergency and life-threatening calls, please use 911. Residents are reminded to report any concerns and/or complaints by using the official borough website or by calling the Milltown Police Department directly. The Milltown Police Department does not monitor and will not react, reply, or respond to comments or complaints posted on third-party social media sites. I think there is a tentative date for the National Night Out of August 3rd, hoping all can attend. Have a happy and safe start to summer. Chief Brian Kennelly. My last report, Madam Mayor, is the Milltown Senior Center report. The Senior Center reopened on Tuesday, July 6th, with a consistent number of seniors coming each day. The seniors have been very comfortable with taking temperatures and signing waivers. Many have said they are happy we are taking a proactive approach and keeping track of people's temperatures. We started some of our activities this week, including water aerobics, yoga, and the men's club, and have had a nice turnout for each activity. Especially good for the first week back. A planned welcome back party for August 12th at 12 noon, lunch, a cake, door prizes, etc. It should be a fun event. A meeting to co-coordinate activities, events for calendar year August this year is in the process of changing times and dates for activities and also looking for some new instructors as some are not able to return. The programs are very popular, so we will be networking with other directors to find some of these new instructors. Thank you, Debbie Cuddy, Director. And that concludes my report tonight, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Next, we have the Department of Utilities, Council President Randy Farkas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the electric utility, street lights were repaired and/or replaced on Lafayette, Cherry Hill, Ackerman, Highland Drive, Elmwood, JFK Drive, and Clay Street. Several electric meters were installed to replace defective units. Staff members assisted the building department in troubleshooting building issues. Department members performed line clearance on Janet Court near Center Street. Substation maintenance was performed. Routine maintenance is being scheduled under the substation maintenance contract with High Energy Incorporated. Transformer oil sampling, will be performed first. Temporary electric drops were installed at Borough Park and the Milltown Senior Center for Independence Day activities. A GFI outlet was replaced in the snack shack at Borough Pool. An outage on Applewood was determined to be caused by a defective fused cutout. It was replaced by a contractor. Bucket truck number 9 is out of commission with hydraulic issues, and the truck is currently in Pennsylvania being repaired. A large tree branch fell on a residential service drop on Highland Drive, resulting in damage to the electrical service. The service was disconnected so that the tree could be removed from the roadway. A new drop was installed, and temporary wiring was installed to restore service to the home. Missing and damaged guy guards were installed at 15 locations throughout the borough. A branch was removed from the primary wires at 87 Riva Avenue. An emergency line clearance was performed to remove other dead and broken branches in that vicinity. Electric utility personnel assisted the water department to get the chlorine injection system at Elkins Lane adjusted and functioning for the summer. Spare parts were ordered. All of the borough's diesel generators have been serviced by GenServe Incorporated. For the water utility, along with all daily work, including pump checks, work orders, and markouts, the water utility has the following report. A water leak was repaired at Clay Street near Ford Avenue. A water leak was repaired on the corner of North Main Street and Harrison Avenue. Pump number 2 at Riva and Northbrook Lift Station has been repaired and reinstalled. Hydrant repairs have taken place at Mapleshade Drive, DeBonis Drive, Mary Court, and South Moats Drive. Water reports have been received at homes, but are also available at Borough Hall, the library, and other locations around town for review. Water meter replacement is ongoing and will continue as manpower allows. Funding has been put in place for replacement of the Muffin Monster and pump number 3 at the Church Street pump station. And please check Channel 15 and milltownnj.org for water utility updates. I have one last just item here. It's a water update. There has been some concern around town with the hot weather as far as the smell or the taste of some water at certain points. This is the official notice that's been put on the borough website. I just wanted to read it for the public. It says, excessive heat is causing a buildup of organic matter in the basins of our sources of water, namely the DNR Canal and Farrington Lake. While the water is safe to consume and use, some may detect the presence of a noticeable taste and/or smell. In order to address this issue, the water utility has flushed the system. Additionally, odor-reducing carbon has been added at the sources as part of the treatment process to eliminate the problem. So the water utility is working on that issue, and hopefully all will be well soon. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the Department of Public Works and Recycling, Councilwoman Anna Newbauer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the DPW, they have the following to report along with their regular curbside collections. There was a tree on South Brook Drive that has been removed, and a bike rack at the library has been relocated. A park bench was repaired at Albert Avenue Park and one behind the post office. There was a swing repaired down at Albert Avenue Park. Safety material has been spread at numerous parks. So that's the stuff, the rubberized stuff around the playground. Hydrant painting is ongoing throughout the town. Crosswalks and line painting has begun around town and will continue until completed. Tree trimming has taken place on Borough property and at Janet Court. Bushes were pruned along South Brook Drive and Cluthal Avenue. Mill Pond Park has been trimmed of low-hanging branches. The DPW department aided in the marking of the parade route with no parking signs and also handling road closures with cones and barricades and all park cleanup after the successful 4th of July. The senior building had entry hall and all interior doors painted prior to reopening, and the director's office. The central garage maintenance was also done for the following vehicles. The thermostats on truck 90 were replaced. Various borough vehicles were serviced. The fuel tank was replaced on truck 99. A hydraulic line was replaced on the MadVac trash vacuum. That's a little trash vacuum with the hose on the front of it. The front window motor and regulator was replaced on an office car. Police cars were serviced. Cooling hoses were replaced on truck 91, and hydraulic lines were replaced on the Toro mower 4000. Please check channel 15 and milltownnj.org for any following DPW updates. And additionally, the Green Team met for the first time since May. We had one meeting in May, we didn't have a meeting in June, and we had our July meeting this past Wednesday. And during the time that we didn't have a meeting, some of our members did still participate in some small activities throughout the town. Some of our Green Team members helped clear the metal wiring mesh that were around the cherry trees in the open space on Washington Avenue. And they also have all been working on the pollinator garden down at Mill Pond Park. They are also discussing the possibility of doing a metal collection down at Milltown Day. I couldn't remember what day they wanted to do it, to raise funds for further projects in the town. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. And next we have the Department of Environmental Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Margaret O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no report on the Board of Health since the last meeting. There's no further report from the Environmental Commission since the last meeting, but our subcommittee that was requested to work on the invasive species ordinance will be getting together soon. From the library board, a new page has been hired, and he's working both inside and outside of the library. Their summer reading program has almost double the participation from last year, so very pleased with how that's going. There are about 17,000 pieces of books and books on tape and so forth that have been in circulation this year. I thought that number was astounding, so I thought I'd share it with you. There is a combination of online and in-person story times available, so the families that feel comfortable coming outside and sitting outside of JK school can do it there, or they can use the Zoom version that had been taking place for the last year or so too. The Friends of the Library extended their deadline for submissions for the picture contest to August 9th, and their event around sharing the winners has moved into September and will be held via Zoom. Consistent with other borough buildings, face coverings are not required but are encouraged. Many of the patrons of the library are considered a vulnerable population. There will be no meeting in August, but sometime in mid-August, the library board will determine if their future meetings will be held via Zoom or in person at the library or at another borough building. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And I will say, I encourage everyone to drive by the library. They have been working really hard to plant and spruce it up, and it looks great. So thank you to all those that worked on that. And while I'm saying drive by that, I should say that after Councilman Zambrana's report, we should thank the Revitalization Committee too. As you drive around town and you see all those lovely flower pots, we have the Revitalization Committee to thank for that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
As well. Okay, so next we have Department of Recreation, Councilman James Peretti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. From the recreation, this year's Albert Avenue Summer Recreation Camp is off to a great start with a strong enrollment rate and a lot of positive feedback so far from parents and camp members. The Milltown Borough Pool is now offering pool parties and swim lessons. You can sign up at the pool or at the Borough in the recreation office. The Borough Pool will be offering beach volleyball on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. from July 8th through August 26th at the Borough Pool. To register, please visit the following website: www.register.capturepoint.com/Borough of Milltown. Please remember, if you are interested in renting any Milltown park, please contact the Recreation Department directly to acquire a park facility usage form. Please note that we are still accepting non-perishable food donations for our Milltown neighbors in need, as well as for the Middlesex County Food Bank, which also supports our Milltown residents. You may drop items off at Borough Hall and place them in the green bins in the hallway of the main entrance during normal business hours. Please remember, masks are optional when you enter the building, and do not leave food in the police entrance vestibule. I also want to extend our congratulations to Milltown Little League. The 12 and under baseball team are the District 10 champions, so that's a huge accomplishment. The players and families should be really proud of them. The town and the entire council is extremely proud of them. This is a really great accomplishment, so definitely happy to recognize them. One other report from the Human Relations Committee. So our last meeting was July 6th, and we had a great recap on what we went over in the previous meeting in our June council meeting, or sorry, our July council meeting, when we talked about Juneteenth, Pride Month presentations at that last June meeting. So really, that's something that HRC is really there for, to be informative. So I thought that was a really good 2 presentations, and we look forward to the HRC continuing those presentations. But speaking of presentations, during that July meeting, a big thank you to Lieutenant Johnson from the Milltown Police Department for helping answer a lot of questions about bias crimes, bias incidences, process for reporting, how the HRC can be a resource to the police department, as well as the police department can be resources to the Human Relations Committee. So that was a really engaging conversation. I appreciate the participation from Lieutenant Johnson. He also mentioned National Night Out, as Councilman Legati was mentioning, so we look forward to the HRC's involvement on that August 3rd evening. As well as partnering with as Councilman Zambrano was mentioning, Milltown Day. I'm looking forward to HRC having a role and getting to meet more of our community in Milltown Day as well. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Next, we have our administrator report, Jeanette Larison.
I have no report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we have the engineer, Mr. Mike McClellan.
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a few items tonight. First is to report that the Risk and Resilience Assessment certification was submitted to the state on June 28th in accordance with the requirements of EPA. Tax map Mylars were sent to the state for final certification. We're happy to report that. We've attended a virtual meeting with the folks from Squibb regarding abandoning a portion of water transmission main on their property. The work is scheduled to commence this week and next week. We will be submitting documents for Hague and Patain improvements of DOT this week to obtain authorization of bid. One thing we want to report to the full council is that one of the issues that were reviewed with regard to the design is the limited radius between Patain and Hague and how that's going to be dealt with. Obviously, creating a better curve there would take private property, and I believe that the committee, when we reviewed it with the Public Works Committee, decision was to look at possibly installing a sidewalk on one of the two streets. That doesn't exist now. We are looking at, we review with DOT. When we submit it to them, they get back to you with the final determination. Just want to mention so the public was aware. And lastly, that the municipal aid application was submitted to DOT for the West Foch and Albert Avenue Park Bikeway improvements on July 1st, and you approved that submission today in your resolutions. And that's all we have tonight.
Great, thank you. Next, our attorney report.
No report tonight, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so now we have mayor's comments. So the first comment I have is it feels so good to be back in person. That's, one of the things, who would have thought that it would be over a year that we would be in a state of emergency, so it's great to see everybody's faces, and we're really looking forward to having even more people come to the meetings, come make appointments with us. That's why we're here, to hear from all of you. So it feels really good, and I thank everyone, as I've done in other meetings, that worked hard here while we were home on Zoom, but it wouldn't have happened without all of the employees of the Borough of Milltown, and it's much appreciated. I also wanted to echo Councilman Peretti's congratulations to the Milltown Little League as the district champs. That's fantastic. We'll all look forward to seeing you at the National Night Out. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I went on this past Wednesday to a Mayor's Leadership Forum at Middlesex County College for all the mayors of Middlesex County, so that the county could present their Vision 2040 plan, which was very exciting on how all of the communities in Middlesex County can come together, and it also will give us an opportunity through our committees, whether it be the revitalization or the green team or the HRC. I think everything that we have a committee on is something that they touched on as one of their agendas to deal with throughout the county. So I'm happy that Milltown is in a good spot to capture working with the county on things that can benefit our town. And with that, I will move on to old business. So if there's any member of the council have any, but wait, sorry. I got one more thing that I forgot. Under thank you to the employees, but this is our first meeting before I got to thank the 4th of July committee. So we had a fabulous 4th of July. I thank Mr. Potter and the entire 4th of July committee. It was a great day, but not only all of them, but the fire, police, DPW, everyone that worked together. It was great to see everyone working together as a team to have such a nice day for our town, and it is really appreciated. And I had a great time, and from everything I've heard, so did everybody else. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And with that, now I will move on to old business. Anyone old business? Seeing none, we'll close old business and move on to new business. Does anyone on the council have any new business?
Yes, Madam Mayor. It just occurred to me over the weekend with all the storms. Does anyone know if we have a lightning strike detector at the pool? Do you know? Do you know, James? We do?
I don't believe so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't ever remember.
I don't remember having
with the storms and the amount of lightning we had, Is that something that maybe we can look into? There's really good technology out there now, and the prices have really come down. And I think, you know, a couple $100 is, we might be able to save a life or two.
Sure,
That'd probably be a good thing to do.
absolutely.
It's so funny, because one of my neighbors, actually, one of their trees got struck during one of the storms.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See?
It's right around the corner from the
Yeah.
pool, yeah.
Scary. Thanks, Randy. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Anyone else? Okay, I will close new business and move on to audience comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from comment until the speaker has finished. It should be further noted that public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has a specific question they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate office. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. So I will open it up for any member of the public that wishes to make a comment.
David Potter, 20 DeBonis Drive. Good evening, Mayor and Council. On behalf of the 4th of July organization, it's been an honor and a pleasure to put on our Independence Day celebration in Milltown. We couldn't have done it without the support of our sponsors, which include many local businesses and organizations who had supported us throughout the year and especially these past months. And also the many volunteers that take pride in their work on what they do to help us during the day. We'd also like to thank the Milltown Borough Mayor and Council, our BA and our Borough Clerk for all of your support and allowing us to have the day. Our Department of Public Works for their amazing efforts in maintaining the sanitary and cleanliness throughout the day, and our Police Department, Fire Department, and Rescue Squad for all of their hard work in providing the safety for all of those attending. I would also like to thank the Milltown 4th of July Committee for their hard work and dedication, and to our families for their patience and support they provide on that day and throughout the year. If you don't mind, I'd like to personally recognize our committee members, for without them, we would not have this day to celebrate. They are Russ Einbinder, Neil Murata, Josephine Adavaya, Mike Finch, Denise Finch, Christine Potter, Russ Tangen, Lois Jensen, Terry Walsh, Rich Revelinsky, Rob Schaffhauser, Laura Kahn, Jason Kahn, Melissa Elmeyer, John McNamara, and our liaison, Councilman Phil Zambrana. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to 2 of our honorary members, my parents, Mel and Diane Potter. Finally, but certainly not least, I would like to thank all the residents of Milltown. As we know, this past year has been tough, but with your support, kept this committee motivated, and we were very excited to put on this day for all of you and the many of the out-of-towners that attended. Please continue to provide us with your continued support as we now start to work on next year's event. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to speak with you this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Megan Dyer, 29 Highland Drive. Just a quick comment. As everybody has already said, very excited to be here in person, to see everybody's faces, to be able to congregate and talk face to face. I'd like to suggest to the council that we continue exploring technologies in order to have this broadcasted live as well, like was done during the pandemic. I know that it was explored for a little while. There's some limitations in the room. How are you going to change cameras to various people across a large space? But I would like to suggest, for accessibility purposes, for engagement with the community, that we continue to explore having Zoom or any technology to engage the community in these meetings.
So it's broadcast live. The issue was to have the interactive Zoom as well.
Yes.
So in other words, right now we're broadcasting live.
Yes,
We
clarification.
we had looked into getting, somebody could be home on Zoom and ask a question. We're not quite there yet, and I know the clerk and the BA have looked into that, but we appreciate the comments. So we
Excellent.
want to be as interactive as possible. So hopefully the technology or the way to do it will keep improve so we can get there.
Excellent. That's
Okay.
all. Thank you.
Hello again.
Hi.
Charles Ronak, 322 South Main Street. I just want to give a quick update about what we're doing at the Milton Historical Society and the museum. Over the past few years, we've been investing into upkeep for the museums. We've replaced the front and back porch roofs of both the museum proper and the museum annex, the building behind it. We've replaced the main roof on the main museum, and lately we've been having scouts for an Eagle project doing the landscaping in the front. They tore up the old brick walkway that was that had seen better days, and they put down dirt and grass, so that should be coming in soon. They're gonna do some more landscaping in the front there. Also, I'm sure if you've driven by, you've seen the bathtub that we brought out front, and Barbara Wright has turned into a nice little garden with some very nice flowers in it, and it's really blowing up fast. That's actually from the old Forney Evans house, the first mayor of Milltown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
So,
that.
and I just want to say that I'm hoping to give a presentation next month
Okay,
on the hopeful future use of the Milltown, the South Main Street Firehouse. So, and that's all I have to say.
We'll look forward to that. Is the
Yes.
historical houses, are they open to the public? now?
Not yet. We're looking at September or October, knock wood. The main thing that's kept us from opening up sooner is the lack of proper ventilation, because they're really old houses, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you let us know and we'll promote that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Yornia, could you stay for a second?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of parking by that building.
Yes.
Is that an issue for your group there, your committee?
It's not an issue. It's a, as far as we know, well, I don't, I think it's a public parking spot now, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah.
borough public lot. They are
Yeah.
allowed to park there. I went through
Right.
this with the chief.
Right.
But the thing that I neglected to do was to check with your
Oh, yeah,
organization.
it hasn't interfered with our meetings or anything, so, yeah, that's, yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no other comments, we will close audience comments and move on to council comments. Any comments from the council this evening?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to interject and just add that I neglected to say that Milltown Day will be on October 2nd, but rain date will be Sunday, October 3rd. The Revitalization Committee is always looking for new members, and the Revitalization Committee meets on the second Tuesday of every month. The next meeting is August 10th. The Zoom link will be posted on the calendar on the Borough website. Please feel free to join us, and applications for the citizen leadership can be found online and sent to the Borough Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, just in case anyone missed it in the beginning of the meeting, I'd like to personally thank Assemblyman Joe Danielson for the amount of money he has brought into Milltown, over the last few years, between the $750,000 for this year and the $2 million for next year for our water lining and situation there, plus all the money that he's brought to the school with the increase in the school amounts that they've gotten over the last 2 years as well. Just one more thank you to him for coming down here and taking time out and always looking out for Milltown for us.
Right. It makes a big difference for our town, and, so everyone's clear, this is money that we don't have to borrow, we don't have to bond for, we don't have to pay back. This is coming straight from the state budget to the Borough of Milltown, which is great. And just by the way, so to follow up on what Councilman Zambrana said, if anyone is interested in any committee, We do it at the beginning of the year, we ask for, or at the end of the year, we ask for citizen leadership applications. However, throughout the year, people may have illness, or they may have other things that come up, and so some of the committees do have spaces that are open. So if you're interested, we have really good engagement and really active committees this year, as you can see, because everyone working together have done a lot of these projects that we sit up here and talk about. So the borough clerk here has a citizen leadership application. They're online as well, right, Mimi? So please go take a look and feel, we encourage you to get involved as much as possible. Anyone else? Okay, so if we're done with council comments, I will ask the council for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Farkas, second by Councilman Magadi. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Good to see everyone. Take care. Good night.